What's going on, guys? Jordan and Michelle here for Universal. Today we're going to be going over the fundamentals of the low bar squat. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate kind of the nuts and bolts of what should comprise a good low bar squat. Michelle's going to go through and kind of walk through her normal squat. We're going to make some subtle changes and kind of show you how to get from conventional squatting into the low bar powerlifting specific squat. So first thing you want to do when you're approaching the bar, you want to set your hands kind of equal distant on either side with the express intent of having this hand position increase the amount of tension through our lower back. So you'll see a lot of guys kind of out to the end of the bar. You'll have a hard time gaining tension through the upper back if you don't have the requisite mobility. So ideally what you'd want to do is pick a spot relative to kind of the ring on the knurling, whether it's pinkies on the rings or index finger on the rings, but just make sure it's standard on either side. Now, the thing about the low bar squat is that it's set lower on our back. So when you walk through, you're gonna kind of want to place the bar right underneath kind of the rear delts. Where you place the bar is going to dictate how you kind of initiate the squat and when you initiate different movements within the squat. One thing that a lot of people miss, and when kind of transferring over from conventional squatting to low bar squatting, we need to think that the end goal is to lift as much weight as possible. So developing good habits out of the gate that are going to transfer over to the weight gets really, when the weight gets really heavy. So when you unrack the weight, the biggest thing to keep in mind is when we're going to work to our maximum weight, we want to develop habits that aren't going to slow us down when we get to that top end. So getting that bar kind of just on top of the rear delts, we want to make sure we bring the hips underneath and we unrack with the legs rather than what you'll commonly see is unracking with the lower back. This is kind of like a self-limiting behavior when we try to work towards that top end weight. Now depending on how you're competing, you're either going to walk it out or we're going to use the mono. For the sake of demonstration, we're going to walk it out. Now, this becomes really important because the walkout can kind of make or break your squat. Usually kind of a 3-point step is the way to go. So whatever your side you're comfortable with, step back, 1, 2, and then kind of square up. Now from here, based on kind of your body mechanics and where the bar is placed on your back, it's going to dictate how and when we initiate different parts of the movement. So from here, the bar is pretty low on my back. Now, the common mistake you're going to see is people sit back into the hips first. That low bar squat is going to throw our center of gravity a little bit different than in a high bar position, but we're still going to want to break in the hips and knees at the same time. So not just the hips or not just the knees. We kind of want to, in this bar position, sit back and load into the hips and knees at the same time. So from here, what we're going to do is knees forward, load into the hips. Now we think pelvis straight down, and then to hit depth, what we're going to do is we're going to drive our knees out. That's going to help keep us, keep our chest up and not kind of fold forward. So the knees come out as we get into that bottom position and we leg drive through the quads and the hips. So again, that's going to be kind of low, knees and back at the same time. Sit into that bottom position and we're going to drive the knees out to get out of the hole. What we're going to do now is we're going to have Michelle kind of show kind of how you squat first, and then we're going to try and pick it apart and make some corrections to make it more suitable for the powerlifting low bar squat.
Okay friends, here we go.
So first thing out of the gate is stance width. We're going to try and load the hips more. We're going to try and get it a wider stance just a little bit. Good, and we're going to take a deep breath in. Knees go forward, load into the hips, sit back, and then open the hips up. Perfect. So just really good mobility, depth isn't going to be an issue. Just the intent of when we're driving our knees out, that knees out is going to be an expression of rotation of the hips. So think of like being really active through your foot and kind of grabbing the floor, because knees out can either be abduction to the hips or external rotation. We kind of want the intent to be both. So she's not wearing any shoes, so you'll be able to see, think of almost making like a 3-point contact with your foot as you come down into that bottom position of the squat, because that foot is going to be an expression of what our hips are doing. So as we load into the hips into that bottom position, you think of like almost rooting in our big toe. Perfect. And drive these up, good. Perfect, just like that. Shoulder blades together, good. Unwrap with the legs, walk back. Now, head position is going to matter. So one thing, as that bar sinks lower on the back, that starts to deviate our center of gravity. People try and counteract it by throwing their chin back. We're gonna kind of keep a neutral cervical spine, so keep your head in a neutral position. Now we're gonna kind of break in the hips and the knees at the same time. Good, open the hips up, grab the knees out. Good. Now one thing I want to touch on is breathing. With the low bar squat, keeping inter-abdominal pressure is going to be a big part of stabilizing the lower back. So a lot of people, what people want to do is you want to take a big breath in, but before you start descending in the squat, you want to tuck your rib cage down. When you take a breath in, what happens? Your lower back starts to extend. You don't want to extend into that or you don't want to descend into that extended lower back. So you can take a breath in, allow your rib cage to raise up, but before you descend, think of tucking your rib cage down. It's going to help increase the pressure kind of in your inner abdominal region. Then from here, then sit right down into the squat. So,
okay, should I try that?
Yeah, try that again. It will become more and more apparent as you put more weight on the bar.
Right. And then putting it all together will just take some time. All right, so
breath in, and tuck the rib cage down. Good, and then knees go forward, sit back into the hips, drive the knees out on the bottom, and up. Good. Yeah, easy.
Okay, cool.
So in closing, the points we want to kind of go over, hand position on the bar is going to kind of dictate symmetry out of the gate. It's something that a lot of people just overlook. They just kind of arbitrarily put their hands on the bar, and that's going to end up either creating an imbalance or end up missing a lift. So hand position on the bar, where the bar rests on your back. Think it's all about controlling your center of gravity, or your combined center of gravity of you and the bar, right? So anytime we're loading vertically, any deviation in a horizontal plane is going to be inefficient. That's going to leave weight on the platform. So think if we're looking side on in the squat, you want to look at the side of the bar and kind of like where Michelle's midfoot would be, so kind of right in front of the ankle. In that position, we want to make sure that these 2 points stay in a straight line every time. Any deviation front or back, our body's going to have to work around that. It's going to lead us to be either inefficient, expressing less of our strength, or it could potentially leave us injured. So when the bar is placed on the back, take a big breath in, tuck the rib cage down, tense up the midsection, break knees and hips at the same time, drive the knees out in the bottom to hit depth, and then return the weight the same way on the way up as you did on the way down. So that's a brief instructional video for the squat. Stay tuned for instructional videos on the bench press and